people to get in. This is going to be kind of a short live, just because of, I'm just exhausted right now. And we're going to be talking about Bryan Kohberger first. Bryan Kohberger, if you guys remember the Idaho 4, we were out there, boots on the ground, doing investigative journalism. It was with me and Chronicles of Olivia. There was a lot of people out there saying this person, that person, and we were maintaining that we feel, especially when we got boots on the ground, that we didn't feel that it was any of the people that people had been discussing or talking about when it came to the Bryan Kohberger case, the boyfriends. There was nothing there that said the boyfriends had ever been violent previously or anything of that nature. It was just these four individuals were unalived. Hey, Kendra, in their bed in their house off campus, just slightly off campus at that. It seemed like a really crazy scene, and nobody can understand how it was done. And when everything was reenacted by other creators on this platform that have, major 3D digital editing information, they were able to generate what they believe that happened, and using the affidavit of probable cause, really honed in on the fact that all of this happened within 9 minutes. Within 9 minutes. Hey, Kendra, Chris, me and you, Lori, Stephanie, Karma's mom, Denise, Vicky, it's nice to see you. Our beautiful Barbosa's up in the house. Oh, sweet Misery. It's nice to see you. Love it, love it. Sorry, didn't know you was live. Oh, I just came live. Nobody knows when I go live. I just kind of pop in, pop out. I realized I did a live on TikTok, and I'm like, oh, I haven't even done a live today. Um, I was a little under the weather earlier today. I feel like it was allergies, all the stuff that was just kind of thrown up in the air and whatnot. I feel like I had like had a sinus headache most of the day. I took 2 Aleve. It didn't knock it out. I took 2 ibuprofen. It didn't knock it out. And so I finally I fell asleep. I didn't know what else to do. I just had a horrible, horrible sinus headache. So Mia, it's nice to see you. Stacy, everybody's like this picture here is crooked. It's not crooked, it's my phone. It's the way my phone is sitting. That's why I'm kind of crooked on my phone too. It's a tripod that doesn't really hold it. The iPhone's so heavy. I don't like iPhone products. Hindsight, it's nice to see you, my love. Stacy, West Virginia Holler Girl, it's nice to see you. Karen, Lisa B, always big hug. Blueberry, love it all. Sweet Misery, thanks. I would say welcome to the crazy family, but you've been part of this crazy family for a while. Lori, it's nice to see you. Natalie, Angelina, Sandy, it's nice to see you all, and all the other. Oh, I see Car Guy, Mr. and Mrs. Car Guy. It's nice to see you guys. Jen, it's nice to see you. Bobby, it's nice to see you as well. Aw, yes, yes, yes. So, we've been talking about going out to the trial in the Kohberger, because we had really been on this case since the beginning. Bloom wrote about Chronicle of Olivia in my interview with Steve and Christy Gonzalez. And of course, the sister, Olivia, she was there as well. And she was pregnant at the time. I can't imagine, they have such a tight-knit family, and they all love each other so very much. And for Olivia, I don't know why I'm saying Olivia's relationship with her sister Kaylee was very special, and they talked about a lot, and Olivia was pregnant at the time with her baby, and so this was a very hard thing for her to go through. She expected her sister to be there. Her sister wasn't, and she had the horrible task of trying to find answers in her own sister's murder. It was very hard on the family, as you guys can imagine. Steve was a bear to deal with at times with law enforcement, not with us. I mean, he was always a great guy. But he was an alpha male, and he wanted, if law enforcement wasn't giving him answers, he was going to go out and get the answers. Come hell or high water, he didn't give a rat's, patootie about it. He wanted answers, and he kicked up a lot of dust when it came to law enforcement. And there's, for people out there that say that that's wrong. I mean, Steve Gonzalez did it. There was a lot of hostility between him and law enforcement while they were investigating the death of his daughter and his daughter's best friend that was like another daughter to them. But there's been some things going on here related to Bryan Kohberger's trial. I wanted to start with, um, Bloom's book, okay? Because there is something coming out from Howard Bloom. I think it might already be out, but it's the new book makes a bone-chilling revelation about Bryan Kohberger's real target in the University of Idaho murders. And I know there for a while we were all discussing it. Who was the primary target? Was it the house or was it somebody in the house? And we all kind of believed, because of his vegan lifestyle and the fact that Maddie Mogen and Xander Canodal worked at the Mad Greek, which had those vegan alternative food. We also noticed that somebody had put a negative post in the Mad Greek, I think, against Maddie. And all of our friends came up and started posting good things about her and stuff like that. I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not. But according to Howard Bloom, he believes that Maddie Mogen was the target, because when they went into the house, according to everything we know, he made a beeline straight up to the third floor. He missed 2 bedrooms downstairs, but he did get Xana and Ethan. And I believe it's because they were awake. I really believe that it just happened to be that he heard them talking. She had food delivered right about that time. She was up, she was awake. So I think that she was just a victim of being awake at the time, because Bryan didn't know the other 2 girls were in the house sleeping, but their doors were locked and he never went in the house, like in their rooms. He didn't going through the entire house to check. He had a very specific task at hand, and he had been there multiple times planning this out. His mother had I get it, Rodney. I believe you, but I'm not really a Howard Bloom fan myself. It's just because I don't know him and I haven't read a whole lot about him. And the only reason why I really know him is because he put me in some of his statements when he was talking about how, at once upon a time, Barbara Walters was the only person that would get an interview like we got with the Gonzalez. We are changing the landscape in journalism on social media. We've been doing it for quite some time, for several years now, because we feel that we are just as powerful as the news media. And quite frankly, over the time, I think mainstream media has been deteriorated in the eyes of a lot of people. I think over time we see that they truly, in some cases may care about these cases, but they don't really run with them. And they don't do any investigative reporting. They do commentary, and that is it. And, we used to, at once upon a time, have real, powerful news personalities that got in there and got the dirt. We don't have that anymore. Everybody's putting these boxes on mainstream media, and it just drives me nuts. They're told what they can say, told how there's no freedom of the press anymore when it comes to mainstream media. A lot of the stuff is propaganda or just, highlighting something, but not real investigative reporting like we once used to have. It's true, not anymore. Exactly. Hey guys, it's nice to see you. So I really feel that a lot of people are kind of getting away from mainstream media, because mainstream media is cable, and not everybody in this world, because of all the prices and everything, have ditched the cable. They're now on online getting their information, and we try to give that to everybody with as much information as we possibly can. When it came to the case of Maddie Mogen, Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, and Kaylee Gonzalez, there was something that seriously happened. We knew that something seriously was really afoul when it came to that. And everybody was using photos. I mean, you're talking about a university. People are in drama, people are, doing extracurricular activities, never mind the alcohol and other, substances that are, out there for these um, these kids. So they do stupid stuff and they take pictures of the stuff that they do. And now, they're in drama class and a guy has a knife, in this skit that they're doing. And people are like, look at the knife. It's the same knife. It's got to be him. And it's like people were literally losing their minds. And so, one of the reasons why Olivia and I went out there is to really, at the time, was to settle tension because a lot of parents were very scared. And I think the first thing is to let them, there were still kids on campus, was to let them know how safe it was there. Okay. We knew that this was some type of targeted attack. We just didn't know what it was. And yeah, and don't forget, guys, anybody that's trolling, and we have it for 5 days. So they literally waited 5 days to do that. I mean, they're literally idiots. So you're more than welcome to block these people that come in here. You can block them personally yourself. If we catch it, we'll block them. We have zero tolerance. It's a privilege to be in this chat, not a right to be in this chat. And if you don't feel that way, go create your own channel and you can run your channel any way you want to. But this says Bullhorn Betty and we're going to run it the way I see fit. Oh, Crime Stories Obsessed. It's nice to see you. I just want to tell everybody, we have a lot of people in our chat on a daily basis that struggle. We have a lot of people that are in and out of surgery, that have had surgery. We have people that are sick, people that are bedridden in part, and people that just, are going through a funk. So I just want to make sure that we're all praying for each other and, just uplift somebody else. If you're having a bad day, always try to uplift somebody else. But getting back to the story, everybody was going crazy and blaming the neighbors. I mean, there was nothing. There was literally no stitch of factual evidence that pointed to them one way or another. But people were just destroying these kids' lives. And I'm like, I'm not doing that, because I have a sister that is, similar in age to these students. And I couldn't imagine my sister going through something like this. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Dee's Mystery, thank you. Oh, 2 months, 2 months milestone. Thank you, and God bless you. And so I had to know the truth. I had to know the truth. I had to get out there, boots on the ground, and find out for myself, because it was getting hairy and a lot of people were scared. And I couldn't blame the boyfriends. I couldn't blame the neighbors and the other kids that were their friends that were hanging out with them. I couldn't do that. I felt like there was so much more going on in that case. And the minute I stepped there, and I remember pulling up, I think it was 17 degrees out. It was so bitterly cold. I remember my fingers were so stinking cold. I thought they were literally going to, like, if they touched one thing, they were going to shatter. That's how painful it was. It was so painful for me. But as soon as Olivia and I got out there, the first thing I said to her, I'm like, this is not the kids. This is not the kids. This is somebody else. This is somebody we're not looking at. This is somebody that we haven't even heard his name. I specifically, and Olivia can back this up, literally within 5 minutes of being in front of that house, those were my statements directly to Olivia. And I actually came online and told you guys the exact same thing. I said, there is something here, but it's not anybody that we're looking at. And I remember we ended up getting that interview with Steve, Christy, and Olivia. And I remember one of their concerns, we really wanted to make it about Kaylee and Maddie. Everybody else was wanting their opinions on who they thought did it and all this other stuff. I thought that was well covered, and just didn't want to get into those conversations of where they had to point the finger at somebody. I thought that was totally unfair to them. And I felt like everything that I've watched interview wise, nobody was really talking about the victims. And so I told Olivia that I really think that we really need to focus on the victims, not the suspect, not um, the situation, but who they were as a person, how their relationship was. I mean, they had a very beautiful friendship, and that's really what inspired us and intrigued us about this case predominantly. I mean, yes, this was a major case, but the bond that Kaylee and Maddie had was a once in a lifetime bond. I don't think anybody ever understands that. Like, they met each other and they were practically inseparable. They were going to be lifelong friends. They were part of the family. I mean, it's difficult. And so that's really what we wanted to focus on, and I think that we hit that out of the park when we did our interview with them. And I never even considered, until Howard Bloom talked about it, but I never even considered that these type of interviews were interviews that somebody like Barbara Walters would have. And here we are sitting in the chair because it wasn't like that for us. We are victim focused. We truly believe in the work that we do, and we want to try to find as much answers and provide as much information to the public, legit information, not this made up stuff like we were hearing earlier today, by an alleged. Now you guys know that this alleged investigative reporter doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He's working with the devil. And that moves us right on over to our other case, Sebastian Rogers. But before we get started on that, I just wanted to let you know that there is that new book out from Howard Bloom. They're talking about it online, and I thought that it might be something worth looking into, because he really believes that Maddie Mogen was the target. And quite frankly, her name came up several times on our show as being most likely the primary target. And the reason why we said that is because Kaylee and Ethan weren't supposed to be there. So it really was a toss of the coin whether it was Maddie or Xana. And when you look at the beeline and where he started, I think that was our telltale sign that it most likely was Maddie that was the target of this crime. He had been there 12, 13 times before. It didn't sound like Kaylee was staying there. So again, it really does come down to one of the two girls. And I truly believe, because he started on the third floor, I think that was kind of your winner chicken dinner of who most likely was the primary target. We're also learning that the defense disputes surveillance video, cell data, and some other stuff. There is an Inside Edition article here that says Bryan Kohberger murder trial, defense disputes, surveillance videos, cell data, cops say places suspect at the scene. And they start off with many of the incriminating details widely reported in the media are in dispute, including claims that Kohberger's car was placed near the crime scene by video footage. It wasn't even that. I heard his phone, he was so close, his phone actually at one point connected to their Wi-Fi. So it's, hey Steffers, I see Serenity, our beautiful Beat Betty, the real me too. It's nice to see you all. Nice to see you all. So it was placed near the crime scene by video footage in the cell tower data. A jury consultant, Brian Edelman, says in a memorandum. So they're trying to get some of this stuff kicked and tossed, which will help benefit Bryan Kohberger's case. Now, I don't know if they'll be successful. It seems like when we looked at the probable cause affidavit for the first time, one of the best things about it is it was so detailed. I had never seen a probable cause affidavit in that much detail. I was shocked. I think hey Lori Lowe, it's nice to see you. I think Just Deb, it's nice to see you as well. Bear, hey, meow. And I remember saying I have never seen a probable cause affidavit with this much detail. And if for any reason what would I say, like 75% of that? I might even have said 70. I can't remember. I think it was like between 70 and 80%. I said if they can prove I said a percentage of this, he's cooked, he's done, it's over for Bryan Kohberger. I truly believe it was that. But when we were talking to Steve, this was the day before their celebration of life for Kaylee and Maddie in Coeur d'Alene. And I remember one of the biggest fear that her parents had was that the guy would show up at this celebration of life and give them a hug, and they would never be the wiser of who this person was. That was one of their biggest fears. And I felt like it was just a gift from God, because that morning, the morning that they were having their celebration of life, which they graciously invited me and Chronicles of Olivia to, we learned that Bryan Kohberger was arrested that morning. So they were able to have that celebration of life that evening, knowing that the man, and of course at this time they were very skeptical of who this Bryan Kohberger was. How did this guy come from left field? I knew it was going to be a left field. As soon as I stepped on that property and saw that house and saw, and just previewed it, I knew without a doubt it was somebody we weren't even talking about. I remember emphatically saying that on my live, like, it's somebody we're not looking at. I remember saying that several times. It's somebody we're not looking at. Somebody we're not looking at. And then a few days later, from that statement, lo and behold, Bryan Kohberger was arrested. And I remember looking, and I remember somebody sent me the wrong picture, and I think it was of a Jason Eller or something, Jason something with an E. And I remember looking at it, and I'm like, oh yeah, this looks like the guy. He looks like a punk rocker. And they're like, oh no, that's the wrong one. Somebody had sent me the wrong one. And so like 2 seconds later, somebody sends me the right one. And I remember Mary was in here, and she's like, well, what does a murderer actually look like? And I'm like, touche, right? And then of course we actually get the right photo for Bryan Kohberger, and it was like, you're right. Like, this carjacker looked like the unaliver, and this guy right here looks like a freaking accountant, And I'm just looking at this guy, and then we start digging in, and we start hearing his mother, her sympathies toward Ted Bundy and all this other stuff. It's like the mom knew before Bryan Kohberger was born that she was going to have a son like Ted Bundy, in my opinion, in the back of her mind. And she did. I feel like that he was different. I feel like that when he started realizing he was different, he tried to suppress that with the use of substances, and that's what led him down the substance abuse. And then as he recovered from that, I think it just, was, I feel like he was determined to do this. I feel like that's why he went to Washington State. I feel like he made the decision that this was what he was going to do before he ever left Pennsylvania. I truly believe that. And it's because of following his life, basically, to the schools he went to the classes he took, what is it, BTK author, whatever her name was. I forget what her name is now, but we talked a lot in depth about her and the questionnaire he sent to prisoners. It seemed like a way for him to figure out how to hunt for his victims. It was crazy, in my opinion. Oh, thank you, Crime Stories. God bless you. God bless you. So I truly believe that there was something more there. I do believe that they need to limit as much as possible, because Bryan Kohberger is in a terrible position, which he did himself, obviously. I'm not sympathetic to him or anything, just legally, the trial-wise, he's in a terrible position. However, I truly believe the prosecution has made a fatal flaw as well. The destruction of the primary piece of evidence in their case, which is the home. It doesn't matter how it looked. Jurors sometimes need to get over the fence, and sometimes they just need to look at the graphic nature of what's in that house and to the tune of what happened. Sometimes that's enough to push a juror over. Nothing is a slam dunk. Even with me thinking that they have the best probable cause affidavit. All of that stuff has to be substantiated. All of that stuff has to be brought in as evidence. All of that stuff has to be presented to the courts. It has to be authenticated. There's a lot of stuff that goes through the process of this, and it just seems like that was a poor decision. But in part, there was people walking by it. I don't think any child. I think it was just becoming a very expensive home to maintain. What do I mean by that? They were paying private security to sit there. They paid private security for almost over a year to sit on that property 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I don't even want to know what type of bill that looks like, okay? It must have been astronomical. But at the end of the day, I wish that they would have gotten a grant or some type of, money from the state or whatnot, just to be able to keep that maintained until the trial. It sucks that it's like that, but there wasn't a whole lot that they could do, because people, it's a college town. You get some college students all drunk. They'll, climb up a fence and go over and do a trespass just to see what's going on. I mean, they're kids. That's what they do. I mean, I know I've been in houses that I probably wasn't supposed to be in when I was younger out in Mayaca City when we were exploring in the woods, and there's an abandoned house. It's something similar to that. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of understood their point. It just, oh, thank you, Bobby. God bless you. I just feel that it should have stayed up. The families wanted it to stay up. I felt that the family and the victim's voice should have outshined the financial and monetary point of this. But I believe that the university made the decision that they thought was best for the university, not necessarily best for the case or best for the victims, but what was in the best interest of the university as a whole. And it just, in my opinion, kind of sucks. Okay, just kind of sucks. So now we're going to move forward with that. It sounds like we're going to be looking at, it looks like they're presenting change of venue. It looks like they're trying to bring this to Boise, which we kind of already anticipated being the case. Oh, thank you, Sylvia. It's nice to see you. So we are looking at some things. I'm trying to figure out when this is, and once we get a place and a location, we can start looking at costs, because all my costs were associated with it being in Moscow. And Moscow, Idaho is a very expensive area, okay? It moving to Boise, Idaho may help the cost a little bit. So I really wanted a good idea about my total cost before we did a GoFundMe. And again, it's something that if our audience wants us to be out there to do live broadcasts for the trial, then we need to raise the money to get out there. It's very, very expensive. The 2 trips that me and Olivia took out there, it cost us both $10,000 each. Okay. So we've already invested a lot of our own personal money into this story and everything. And the trial is going to even be longer. It's going to be several weeks. Oh, Alicia, it's nice to see you. Did your home stay dry? More important, how's our baby being? Delilah's doing good. I'm not sure about my house. I talked to my neighbor earlier today, and he says my grass is ridiculously high. So I've got to try to get a mower over there to get the yard taken care of. So we'll see how all that works out. I know that I've got my weed eater there, but without me being there to clean up the yard, the weed eater, I've got to put the weed eater together. And whoever sponsored that, I just wanted to thank you. I got a weed eater, a little, it came with like 3 different attachments on this. It has the hedger and the little, like the mini chainsaw that's like, I don't know, 6 inch, I don't know, it's about a foot, 12 inches or something like that. And you can use that to cut little branches. It is so awesome. It's so awesome. But Delilah is, as you can imagine, my heart and soul. And so she's doing very well. But I haven't, like I said, it's been hard because we did have a lot of flooding. Our Philippi Creek is been washed away. There was a lot of substantial, there's still some flooding on State Road 64 that's still pretty bad. But I heard Savannah, Georgia also got a lot of flooding, as well as the the storm moved their way as well. I mean, it wasn't, even though it wasn't a very windy storm, it brought a massive amount of water. It was not even close to being a direct hit in our community, and the flooding that happened, that ensued because of this storm, was honestly pretty shocking. We didn't hardly get this much water with Ian, and Ian took my fence and my roof, and we didn't have as much. I mean, we had some localized flooding in certain areas, but it wasn't like this small little cell that came through. It was crazy. But there was some substantial, I mean, we not only that, but we had tornadoes. And so in Sarasota, a car ended up flipping on its roof in the tornado. We also had a tractor trailer, which I pray to God the guy got out of it. I just, you know, I love my trucker community. I really do. We have a trucker community on here that watches us here. And I really do appreciate all their work and the things that they do getting our stuff from across this country. And their job is dangerous. It's very dangerous. You know, they have big rigs, you know, they can hit ice, they can jackknife, they can, you know, one small thing can happen and it can have deadly consequences. And this one particular 18-wheeler ended up getting caught in something and literally rolling off the bridge into the water. And the only thing I can pray is that the person that was driving that truck was able to escape the truck before it sank with him in it, or her in it. You know, we have beautiful women out there going across this country as well. So that was really scary, seeing them trying to pull this 18-wheeler out of the water. Just broke my heart. And they didn't say whether the person inside the vehicle had made it or not. And I would have liked to have that tidbit of information from that article, but I didn't get it. But it was, you know, we obviously had our fair share of problems, you know, from the storm, even though it wasn't a direct hit. So thank you all. Thank for all you do for the victims and their family. Thank you. And it's not just me, it's my whole team. It's Betty, it's the real me too, it's Sonia, Guidance, Jen, Suze, Emma. You know, Emma's another one that's in the hospital right now that hasn't been able to come on here. So like I said, if we can, make sure we're all praying for each other. I'm really disappointed that we have now determined that Jonathan is associated with the Proudfoots, that Jonathan is now working side by side with SF, Cluminati, all them, in an effort to aid the Proudfoots. I did get that from a very reliable source that is now going on, that he most likely, I told you, it sounded like what Katie was doing smelled like JLR all day long. And everybody's like, no, it's SF. And I'm like, no, this is, because even with the copyright stuff, I felt like that was JLR in SF's ear. And but I don't know that for a fact. But this one, you know, because I can see, because he did this to me, you know, he was very manipulative to me, and I can see exactly what he's saying. You want to bring them in, you want to, you know, bring them out of their comfort zone. I bet you he used that line on whoever talked these people into doing it. He set them up. He knew that I would catch wind of this, and he didn't care. So he's just now, I don't know if he's going to act like he's working for them to elicit information. All these people are. I mean, SF turns on parents almost on the daily. Look at what he did to Kylie Rodney's family. Look what he did to that boy out in Utah. What was his name? The 19-year-old that was the farmer. I don't know why I'm envisioning his face. Well, he turned on his mother and started saying he was going to go after her and starting to expose her. He did the same thing to Layla Santanella's mom, Jennifer Santanella. These are not good people. These are not wholesome people. These are people that are willing to commit crimes in an effort to aid them in their whatever they're doing online. Okay. I don't know what else to say. I was disheartened, but I knew that JLR had gotten his feelings hurt from Seth because he basically kicked him to the curb along with his entire team. And so his entire team has been attacking Seth nonstop since that moment. And now that I'm involved, and obviously JLR being my ex, and us, you know, him trying to destroy me as a human being and trying to help aid and other creators destroying my channel, he has gotten even more on the on the bad side of things in an effort to hurt me because he got caught having an affair on his current girlfriend or with me. You know, I was in a relationship with him and he cheated on me for a year with this other girlfriend. So there's a lot of hostility here. And why does he keep attacking Seth? I truly don't believe he believes half the crap that's coming out of his mouth, but it's to hurt me. And I don't know why he's going to work with people like the Proudfoots, but he has made he has decided to switch sides, and he is literally helping the Proudfoots any way that he can possibly help them behind the scenes, including running bad stories about Seth in an effort to do that. So, and he never brings any real receipts. He says, look at this, look at that, but it's never really any legitimate receipts that have gone through the court records and have been had any findings. And now he's calling him a pedo. And it's like, you know what? If you guys even knew who this man truly was, not Seth, I'm talking about JLR, you guys would understand that this man is rotten to the core. And I'm not going to sit here and keep bad mouthing him and stuff like that. You guys will find out. Just keep watching how he acts for this particular case predominantly, because I'm involved in it. SF has been trying to get me to work with him for 2 years, and I have refused. And I told him I do not work with internet PIs, and then all of a sudden he started changing and attacking me for no reason. I even stuck up for him when they were attacking him on the Kylie Rodney case, but it didn't really matter. You know, as soon as you refuse to work with the pompous asshole, he wants to turn on you and start attacking you and exposing you, right? That's what he keeps doing to all these families that don't want to work with him or decide to fire him from the job because he does horrible work. He's never found the 15 people he said he's found. I've confirmed that. He has found some people. But that's not, and that's through, he never even got off his ass. He found them through using his telephone. He never went out there to look. He never did actual PI work. You know, I'm not going to get into it. But these are the people that are now working with the Proudfoots and now trying to destroy me, and also the ones that had the hand in this whole protective order catastrophe on their part that made Katie and Chris and their family look like total idiots, and like they care more about me than they did their own son. So whatever PR stunt that they were trying to do, it backfired on them. And I know for a fact it was JLR, and I know almost verbatim what he was telling him. You want to pull her out. You want to pull her out. You want to take her out of her comfort zone. I can already tell you the pitch that he gave him. You know why? Because it's the same pitch he gave me. Just saying. I could tell you everything about this man. I was with him for 2 years. You know? And at the end of the day, he's setting up the Proudfoots. He hasn't done anything good for them. All he's done is cause them problems, and they're still going to listen to him because they think he's their friend. Well, this doesn't look like a friendly move to me. You just got your ass handed to you on a silver platter, Proudfoots. Way to go. That's why now you know why Seth dumped this team. They're horrible and awful, and they do stupid stuff that causes people problems, and that's why they're not involved with Seth at all, and that's why they're attacking him nonstop. And of course, with me coming out and throwing everybody's dirt, and that's exactly what it is, their dirt, like they brought it on themselves. I just happened to know about it. You know, you attack Seth, I'm going to drop truth bombs on you. While you're lying about Seth, I'm going to tell the truth about you. And I told you that. And you guys haven't heard me talk about this man. I don't talk about him. I let him go. If he's going to stay away and not cause any more problems for the investigators in this case, then I have nothing to say about him. But as soon as he starts coming, I'm going to start telling you guys about how he put his parents in jail. I'm going to start telling you about the 300-pound woman that he was banging so she would protect him from the law enforcement back in the 90s so he wouldn't be arrested. Her name's Kim, by the way. You know, I got a lot of truth about this man. Okay? And if he wants to keep lying about Seth, he can do so. I really don't care. I have the truth. I have receipts about him. And I don't mind putting them out there. How do you think I knew about J is for Justice and him? You know? So he's a dirty dog. And now he's literally trying to cause interference at the benefit of the Proudfoots. Does this sound like a guy that really cares about the truth? Does it sound like this is the guy that really cares about the victim? Or is this the person that appears to look like all he wants to do is seek and destroy Seth? An innocent father. And he's sitting there trying to make him a suspect because his new clients, the Proudfoots, look horrible because of his own advice that he gave him. Now he has no choice but to do damage control for him. and they can make memes about me and their private group to 40,000 people, but I can tell you many people are done and over their bullshit. Their whole team's bullshit. Because they're seeing how horrible they are, how biased they are, and how unprofessional they are. Everybody's seeing that on these streets. Everybody. It's not just a few people. Like literally all of the major outlets that used to actually take him serious have turned their backs on him. Okay? All of the people that used to have some type of respect for his journalistic, his gonzo journalistic work, have completely they want nothing to do with him. Jonathan Lee Riches will never be on mainstream media ever again because of his shenanigans. Okay? They want nothing to do with him. Nothing. He's not going to be advocating for people. They're not going to be taking his footage. They're not going to do anything. They want nothing to do with him in Magnolia because they're so disgusting. Oh, I heard about it. That's why I started posting. I told him every time he lies about Seth, I'm going to put truth serum out about him. I told him that to his face. And so he decided to go and cower out for a little bit and not say anything. But see, his numbers are taking a nosedive, right? He's having crap numbers. And so the only way he can get his audience built back up for this case is to lie. And to have more made up allegations, like I told you, him and his team make up this stuff. J for Justice, T-Rev, all of them, okay? They have all manufactured information to run stories, and this is no different. And you know what? I proved it to you guys. T-Rev, that I tried telling you was happening. Everybody called me a liar until the proof was in the pudding and the things started unraveling and people could truly see that they were making this stuff up. They were having friends call in and having these salacious conversations about this stuff, literally causing interference in a case, and all for profits and clicks and views. And then they sit there and attack me because I want no part of it. Just saying. I watched the Vinny news 20 damn times. Wow. Didn't he get the cease? Yeah, he got the cease. And that's why he's keeping a low profile, but he'll come up with it. Go look at his numbers. He hasn't been hitting the numbers that he's used to hitting. So his pocketbook's starting to hurt, and I'm pretty sure he's probably, I know he wouldn't be paying Magnolia. Magnolia's too desperate and too stupid. So he's probably just letting her, do her thing to him for payment because she's desperate. I don't know. I really don't. I just know he's not coming from a place of investigative journalism. I know that he's coming from a place of hate and a place of destruction. And I told him many times his head's not in it and he needs to get his head right. And he's not gotten his head right because he's too pissed off at me because I'm throwing all of his business out there. But I told him I would if he didn't stop with the lies and the bullshit. And he didn't stop with the lies and the bullshit. All he had to do was start telling the truth and start doing actual investigative journalism again, but he hasn't. And so it's like, you know what? I'm tired of it. I've got dirt on you. 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 And if you guys want to play these games, I've told everybody that I have no problem throwing this out there. I have no problem throwing their dirt out there. None. If they're going to keep doing all of this stuff to Seth, then I'll start doing all the same stuff right back to them. The difference is their stuff against Seth is lies. My stuff against JLR, I have receipts for, including him punching his ex-girlfriend in the face, where guys had to literally pull him off. I'm friends with those guys that had to pull JLR off of that girl. They were the ones that told me. I went to the girl and asked her, and she said, yes, that did happen. And she said that she was literally bloody because of him. And I can tell you that the whole time I was with JLR, he grabbed my arm one time. I remember looking at him and said, don't ever touch me like that again. And he never touched me like that again. It was that simple. So I didn't see that side of him. But yes, there is that side of him. Got that recorded, got that on. I mean, I'm ready to hit play. I'm ready to put that out there. I've got receipts. I've got major receipts on JLR. Since he did what he did. I didn't believe any of this stuff before. But after what he did to me when I was completely blindsided, I realized that he is capable of a lot. And I wanted to be educated and find out what the hell happened and who this man is. And I found out a lot. And it scares me and it disgusts me. But You guys can keep watching him and doing whatever. I don't care. You guys will learn over time who this man is, because he's a shady character. That's why he was a 3-time felon and why he went to jail for fraud. He knows what makes people tick. He was that kind of guy that got into your head and got your information directly from you. That's how good he was. So just FYI. And now he's trying to turn a whole community against Seth, and I will not let it happen. And I'm the person between him and his heathens and Seth. And he'll never be able to get over me, under me, or around me. I have too much dirt on that man for that. So we'll see how he chooses to play. But hey, you know what? I'm not opposed to going into the front of his house and doing a live there. I'm not opposed to having a bullhorn in front of his house. I'm not opposed to letting his neighbors know what kind of dog he is. Because remember, his neighbors used to see me coming over there all the time. And now they see this fat, ugly lady coming over there with a smushed face. I'm sure they're probably scratching their heads saying, what's going on here? And I remember the last time I was over there, I remember the neighbors like, oh, we haven't seen you for a while. And it was just odd how his neighbor was talking to me. And I'm like, yeah, well, I've been on the road for the last several months. And she's like, oh. And I never caught wind of it. I never read her like that, because I never believed that Jonathan was capable of doing that. You know, I've never thought he was capable of lying about an innocent father either. But we're learning a lot, you know, and I'm just ashamed. I'm ashamed that I was ever associated with him. I think he's a disgusting, vile individual that has nothing better to do. He worries about his clicks and views and about being in the spotlight more than he cares about these cases. When he was with Olivia and I, you know, I got to be honest with you, it seemed to me like he actually gave a shit about the cases and the victims. And I saw him slowly get away with that, you know, stop that. Like even in J.J. Rollins, you know, there was a time when he would have been out in the field looking for that boy, and he wasn't doing any of that. He was just running around filming everybody. And it's like, what the hell happened to you? That was way back in when that little boy J.J. Rollins disappeared, when we were out there searching. I was literally out in the woods searching while he's up there filming at the gas station. He just changed. He just changed. So I hope you guys don't listen to any of his commentary or take any of his commentary as true. He's defaming this man over crimes because he thinks he's got something. This man has never been charged, never been convicted, and it's awfully funny that this man has never been charged and never been convicted, but all of a sudden he's this horrible guy that abuses underage children, of all things. The one thing that will get a person in trouble. And I hope JLR is sued the shit out of. I know that what he did to me behind the scenes, I've got a 2-year, in one aspect, 2-year statutory statutes of limitations, and 5 years in another one. And I will be exercising those rights against JLR. He's pushing the envelope because he knows I don't want to start another action. And I don't want to start another, but I will. If I've got to work around the clock, if I've got to start doing lives at midnight just to get my day done, that's what I will do. I'm so sick and tired of JLR and Magnolia's bullshit. I have causes of action against that man for what he did to me. And I have really tried very hard not to have to pull the trigger on it. But every single day he does this bullshit and keeps hurting this family because he's trying to hurt me. It's getting me a little closer to those courtroom doors to file that suit. And I've threatened him with it and threatened him, and he just keeps wanting to call my bluff. And I've already got literally the action typed up and ready to go. I just haven't filed it. I've been having a really hard time throwing my business out there for the whole world to see when it came to JLR. But, you know, to be honest with you, if that's what I need to do, then it's getting to the point where that's what I'm going to have to do. I don't want to. You know, this is my private life that's going to be in the public domain, more so than it already is. And I know that some of the stuff that I put out there, I did that all by myself, but I needed people to understand what was going on behind the scenes that nobody knows about, you know? And as soon as I found out, I remember going to Tennessee and talking to some people that knew Jonathan back when he was a kid. That's when I realized how bad this was going to get. And I realized that he was going to try to absolutely destroy me if he could behind the scenes, and that is exactly what he's been trying to do. And he uses other people to do it. He's a manipulator, you know. And now he's manipulating his audience. He's manipulating an entire chat group, and I just hope everybody just stops listening to him. He's not doing anything to help Sebastian or Sebastian's case. At the end of the day, Seth was at work. Like, even the law enforcement bodies on these platforms aren't voting with what JLR is saying. There's no evidence to support what JLR is saying. But I can tell you everything that I posted, I can support 100% with literally legit receipts. Even his 300-pound girlfriend that he was, banging to hide him from the law. That was a shocker. She's a hot mess express, but again, her name's Kim. He knows that I know what the heck I'm talking about, and we're going to keep going down this. Every time he lies about Seth, I'm going to continue to put truth about JLR. The truth that he's always lied to this platform about. And people are like, I hope he sues you. Well, it's kind of funny because in order for him to sue me, I'd have to be lying. You're talking about the most litigious man in the world. I want you guys to think about that. Does he seem to have a problem sending cease and desist letters to people? Does he seem to have a problem filing suit against other people? He doesn't. So why hasn't he filed suit against me yet? You know what I'm saying? He could do that. He has no problem any other time, but he won't with me. Why? Because I'm waiting. Whenever I cross the line and lie about him and defame him, then he'll probably sue me. But so far, we've been going about, well, how long now? 6 months? Still haven't received that lawsuit from him yet. Wonder why. He had no problem suing everybody else. Why not me? Just saying. Because he doesn't want the truth out there. You need to think about that. That man is a horrible man. He lies and manipulates people. He's done it his entire life, so much so he had to be thrown in jail 3 times over it. And now he's doing the same thing because a guy hurt his feelings. And now SF is going to go into this case. Now, mind you, we've all watched SF on the last 3 cases turn on the parents and start saying he's going to expose them. What do you think he's going to do to Chris and Katie? These people are so stupid that there's like literally no help for them. They just keep digging themselves in a deeper hole. They look like shit because they are shit. And I'm talking about the Proudfoots and the Bowersocks. I just heard it an hour ago from Don B's channel. It's so bullshit. You can do so much better than him. Oh, I already am. I got Delilah. Are you kidding me? I haven't dated since freaking last year, October of last year, when all this shit blew up. I haven't left my house to go on it. I don't really care about guys. I got myself a dog. I'm going through some major, just healing from what he's done to me. And he manipulated the crap out of me. And I was none the wiser because I thought he was a good guy and he'd never do this to me, right? Yeah, what a joke. What a joke. So he can't be trusted. It's like that thing Morgan Freeman says. It's not about the knife in your back. It's about when you turn around and see who put it there. That's it. So, anyways. But that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I hope you guys don't listen to his nonsense about Seth. Seth needs our help. Seth needs our love. Seth needs our prayers. This is yet another distraction away from Sebastian Rogers in an effort to plug him and get him notoriety from his shit people that like to watch his crap channel and his crap shit because it's Jonathan Lee Riches. Ooh, I'm Bullhorn Betty. Meet me, I can tell you I don't play those type of games. I don't manufacture information to go to my channel and make up. We legit go out there and try to find the information. The only thing JLR has ever tried to help, honestly, is the Proudfoots. And he continues to do so. That is not a friendly person. That is not somebody we can respect. Anybody that has studied this case knows that there are some issues with this case, and it falls right back at that house at 1008 Stafford Court. Anybody with common sense, but apparently these 2 people don't have common sense, and neither does their team. It sounds like there are a lot of butthurt Bettys that got their feelings hurt and decided to turn on a man because they got their feelings hurt. So keep rocking it out. Let's keep putting the good vibes out there. Let's keep talking about Seth and Sebastian. Let's work toward a good resolution in this case. Seth believes his son is out there. His son is out there alive. I would love nothing more than to bring his son home and bring his son home alive. But we need the right people to help with this case and advocate for this case. And all these idiots want to do is sabotage this case. And I think they're all criminals, and they don't know what the hell they're doing. I'm sorry. Trev time, he ruined his reputation hanging out with a bunch of felons. I'm sorry, he did. When he started crossing the line, listen, if Seth told me tomorrow that he wants me out of this case and doesn't want me talking about it, I would walk away from the case tomorrow and never say his son's name again. Why? Because he's a parent of a kid, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here for that kid. And if that's what is said to me, then that's what I would do. There's been many cases I didn't take on. Many. Because the parents didn't like me for whatever reason. So I don't argue, right? And nor do I throw them under the bus. You know why? Because at the end of the day, there are parents that are struggling. There are parents that are grieving. There are parents that are not going to be making right decisions at this moment in time. And I would be like, you know what? Me being kind would be a lot better than me being an asshole, right? So it's, I just really would have preferred the old Jonathan, but he'll never come back, because just like every other abusive man, you fall in love with the man you think they are instead of who they are. And that's what happened. So anyways, guys, I really hope you guys denounce this practice of bullying an innocent father. We're not here for petty YouTube squabbles or people's hurt feelings. We're here for a victim of a crime. That victim is Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, and I hope we can all come together for the sake of him. If that's not something you're here for, there's always an unsubscribe button here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Please don't forget to use it on your way in or your way out. You don't have to like my commentary, and you don't have to like me. But if you're going to be here, you're going to be respectful not only to me, but to my clan of people. And if you can't do that, there's no point in you even being in the chat to begin with, because we're going to block you anyways. So I'm just going to ask everybody to please do the right thing, not because it's the easy thing to do, but because it's the right thing to do. And if you really agree with how JLR and his team have been handling this, please unsubscribe from me and just go over there and get your commentary from him. But I want nothing to do with him, and I want nothing to do with anybody that's associated with him. And that is a fact. I will never, ever have anything to do with anybody that's associated with that man. Nobody. I'm done with everybody. If you associate with JLR, I want nothing to do with you. And that is on a professional level as well. Because we're going to go somewhere. While he may have some numbers, but we're going to be going somewhere. He's going to be where he's at for the rest of his life. Okay? He's not going to change. If he keeps going the way he's going, he's probably going to be back into prison. Just saying. Just my opinion as well. Anyways, you never talk about Sebastian. It's always about, oh, give me a break. You know what? Then don't be here. Kick her, like literally block her. But you keep coming here and listening to the commentary, don't you? And I'm allowed to address the things that are going on this platform, and this stuff happened today. So if you don't like the commentary, literally kick rocks. Unsubscribe from this channel. And I mean that in the literal sense. I do not need your click. I do not need your view. I could care less. I'm not in for quantity. I'm in for quality. And my team here on the Bullhorn Betty channel actually give a damn about these cases and work their ass off to find answers. Even my audience members. So if you want to be here for the drama and the bullshit, kick rocks. I will address whatever is going on with me. I will address whatever's going on in this case. And I'll address what's going on with the pieces of shit that are running this case into the ground. And if you have a problem with that, again, it's called unsubscribe. Again, never gave a rat's ass about my number count, my view count. You know why? Because I truly believe you give people good content and information that they need and have to have, they will always come back. No matter what your attitude is, no matter who you are, they will always come here to get the information, whether they like you or not, because they know you're legit. And I really could give a rat's ass about your feelings about me, okay? Let me be very clear. Let me be crystal clear. I don't. You don't like me? That's your problem, not mine. There's a lot of people in this world that love me to death. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with having my circle very small. You know why? Because I'm real. I don't kowtow to my audience. I don't kowtow to my members. I don't kowtow to people that sit here and provide me financial support on this channel through tips, super chats, super stickers, or anything else. We do the work that's necessary to do. The people that want the information come here to get it. So, again, I love you all. The ones that love me, the ones that don't, kick rocks. Seriously. Because you're easily replaced. Because more and more people come to this channel every day because we're done with the bullshit. So, guys, have a great night. I wasn't even going to be on here for an hour, but look at that. We made it through an hour. So we'll talk tomorrow. I hope you guys learned a little bit about Bryan Kohberger. I hope you guys learned a little bit about the bullshit going on here with Seth yet again from the same people that can't tell the truth even to anybody, right? The only time you ever get a truth out of these people is if they're watching cars burn and they say, ooh, look, there's a car burning. That's about as much truth as you're going to get. God bless. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something, because an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, please be kind to one another unless they deserve it. Just saying. God bless.